right, everyone. So welcome again. My name is Eleni Summershields. I am the Chief Operating Officer here at Wise Agent, and I have the fabulous Chase Boulineau and Katie Chadwick. Did I say that right?
You nailed it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so ladies, you want to tell us, you guys are the creators of Go-To Agent Society. And do you guys want to tell us a little bit about yourselves and Go-To Agent Society as we get this kicking off here?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, welcome you guys. We're so excited to be hopping on here with you. As Eleni said, we are the creators of not only the Go-To Agent Society, but the Canva for Real Estate Agents group on Facebook. And we are two real estate agents who turn marketers because we just love getting in there, and we're kind of huge nerds. And so the Go-To Agent Society is basically a creation we made with the collaboration of our Canva members, asking them exactly what they needed, what they wanted, and brought it into existence, June of last year. Yep. And we basically just teach real estate agents how to generate free high quality leads on social media without cold calling, without door knocking, and without ads. So that's a little bit about what we do. Chase, did I miss anything?
Nope, I think you nailed it.
Okay.
That's awesome. And you guys have, we were talking about notifications earlier. I turned one of mine off. You guys have some great content and great material that you guys post on Instagram and on social media. And I know our marketing, you guys have met us through our marketing team. And so that was great. That's how I got to meet you guys, through Sarah, our marketing manager here at Wise Agent, and hit it off, had a great conversation, and love what you guys are doing for the real estate agents and professionals out there. Teaching them. This webinar series is all about education and just teaching best practices, really good tips and ideas on how to get, your business just really booming. And so using Wise Agent and using just conjunction, other things in conjunction with your CRM. Mm-hmm. So you guys have submitted some questions. So all the attendees have submitted questions. I got a ton of questions for this webinar, which is fantastic. So we're going to try and get to all of them. And, if we miss your question, don't worry about it. I'm going to have our support staff. We're going to send you guys, we have your email and what you've submitted. We will be reaching out to you guys individually and answering those questions for you as well. So, and of course you can connect with Katie and Chase on Instagram. And then later on, you guys are going to talk about how to join your group and everything else, right?
Yes.
Great group out there. All right. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about the group, the Go-To Agent Society, and talk a little bit about that? And I know you guys have a little presentation for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me pop on here and share my screen, and it looks like we can all see it.
Yeah.
Hide those pesky meeting controls. Yeah. But yeah, awesome. So why don't we talk about something that is a burning question for real estate agents? And Chase, go ahead and take it away.
Yes. So something that we get asked all the time is, how do we know exactly what to post on social media? How often are we supposed to post? Where do we even start when it comes to social media? So this training is going to cover all those things. So exciting. So like Eleni mentioned, we are Katie and Chase. We're the creators of the Go-To Agent Society, and we've also created the Canva for Real Estate Agents Facebook group, which is the home for over 20,000 agents to collaborate and create marketing materials with each other, and just a great sharing space for real estate agents, made by real estate agents. So these two things are our pride and joy. We wake up so excited to come into work every day. Like I always tell Katie, it feels like we're on vacation because we just love what we do so much.
Yeah.
But these things help us fuel our passion of helping real estate agents have a fun, easy, and authentic relationship with social media, which is what it's all about, because we want to make sure that when you're generating leads on social media, you're doing it in a fun, easy, and authentic way. So if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, you can go ahead and follow us at Go-To Agents. We are always in our DMs. We always respond to comments. Any questions that you have, that's a great place to go and ask them. And again, we make sure everything gets answered.
And, you know, I love what you said here, that it's easy and authentic relationships with social media. I think that's like such a key thing, especially that authenticity.
Yes.
I mean, there's people out there that, you know, and I know you can have people posting for you. I tend to shy away a little bit from social media. That's just my personality. But you know, I think you can't really have somebody else, you know, it can be difficult to have somebody else posting for you and being authentic. You should really be posting and just showing your true colors. I mean, as realtors, you're building relationships, and it's something that you should be doing. You know, when you're making a post, it should be coming from you, or at least your tone and your voice. You know, you've got some thoughts in what the post is going to be, right? Or else it just comes across as like disjointed if, you know, one of your comments sounds completely different than, you know, from another one.
Exactly. And we always get agents telling us that they don't want to look salesy or cheesy. And having that authentic relationship with social media is what really helps them avoid that and use their tone and just come across as that person that people want to reach out to. And that's what generates those leads on social media, is that authenticity factor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you have to connect with them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And just a reminder for everyone that's watching, a couple of things. So this is being recorded, and you will get a copy of this in your inbox later on today. You can also find the replay on Facebook. So we're in our Wise Agents community. I'm looking over this side because this is where my phone is. So you can find it there. We'll also post it on YouTube. And then if you have any questions, I mean, we got a lot of questions before the webinar, but if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the Q&A section or in the chat, and we'll answer those for you. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So Chase and I, we do things a little bit differently. Okay. And before we even begin, this is our favorite part. We love to have everyone just, right? As real estate agents, we go 100 miles an hour, right? We're part-time therapists, firefighters, home inspectors, right? We have a lot on our plate. And part of that we realize is social media is a big piece of that. And it becomes this big monster that's like looming over us, making us feel like we're not doing the right thing, and a lot of shoulds going on. And so what we wanted to start off with is we want to give you permission to do less. Okay. A lot of people are like, I need to post more. You know what? You actually probably need to post less, and you don't need to post every single day. So we just wanted to start this off by giving you permission to do less. And you're capable of great things, okay? So basically, what we have found is that there's two different types of content. There is core content, that is your lead generating, rapport building content, and supplemental content, which is more rapport building, but brand awareness, right? It may not necessarily generate us leads. So the core content is posts that are based on your audience's fears, pains, and goals. And that basically means content about things that they're experiencing in their home buying or selling journey, and post about you. Your audience wants to know about you. They want to get to know you because you are the brand. You are your brand. The way you do your hair, the way you dress, the way you speak, that is all your brand, and your audience wants to know who you are, right? And the supplemental content is like the National Popcorn Day, right? Like the just listed, just sold, and then the real estate memes. And don't get us wrong, we love to laugh. Like we love to laugh at a good meme. But what we've realized is a lot of agents are actually posting memes that are about their clients. And it's kind of coming like at the expense of their clients. It's kind of like, if you're going to post memes, let's laugh with them, not at them, right? Because when they see that, they're thinking, are they going to make fun of me, right? So let's talk a little bit more on examples of core content. So Chase, can you illuminate for us, like what does it mean?
Yes. So core content, like Katie said, is content that's around your fears, pains, and goals of your ideal clients. So what is making them nervous about the home buying or selling process? What is like a thorn in their side when it comes to the process, right? For that, it could be maybe they don't want to sign a contract or something because they're nervous about the commitment, and then the pain would be that they don't want to reach out to an agent because they don't want to be trapped. They just don't like that trapped feeling. And then goals, these are like the carrot on the stick, right? We want to attract them to the end goal. We want to illuminate that and make it more vivid for them, because if they don't have a clear picture of where they want to go, they're going to stay stagnant and lost. So by kind of doing the research and asking some questions, you can really dive into their motivation for buying or selling and paint that picture in your posts. So that way, when you're posting, the content actually resonates with them and they actually want to engage. The biggest reason they don't engage on the post that you're sharing now is because they don't resonate with it. They don't find the value in it and they don't see themselves in your content. But by highlighting those fears, pains, and goals, you are giving them the ability to see themselves in your content and giving them permission to engage. And about those posts about you, we're not talking about the, oh, look at me, I'm fabulous posts. We're not talking about the, I'm going to share every single skeleton in my closet either. We are sharing posts that share the commonalities between yourself and your audience. So what experiences have you gone through that your audience is currently going through that you can share and build that transparency and that trust through? Those are the posts that we're talking about when we want posts about you. We don't want just oh, look at me, I'm the #1 agent in my office. Like, that is great. That is great supplemental content because you're showing yourself as the expert and you're building that brand awareness, but they don't know what's in that for them. They don't know why they should care.
Right. What does it do for their for them? What does it do for your audience? You want to play up to that and just kind of make them feel like, well, I'm important in this equation, right? You want to exclude them from that.
Exactly. Like, a great way to think about it is when you're creating core content, you are the Yoda and your audience is the Luke Skywalker. Your audience is the hero in the story. You are simply the guide helping them throughout the journey. The moment you portray yourself as the hero instead of giving your audience that role, you kind of lose them, because we all want to be the main character in our story. We all want to be the hero in our story. And as soon as we say that we are the hero, we're the awesome person who does the thing, we're competing with our audience for that attention, for that spot. And when you just take a step back and say, hey, I'm the Yoda, I'm here to walk you through, they see you as the expert and the person that they can trust to walk you through the process, instead of, oh, they're just all high and mighty, you know?
So that's a great way of putting it. Do you have like an example that would be something that you would do based on one of these three things, you know, based on fear or pain or goals? Do you have an example that you can share with everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's on the next slide, but basically you want to think of fears and pains as like their objections. Why are they not taking that first step? And I know we know our sales objections, right? We're quite great objection handlers, and that's all we're doing in our content is handling objections. So let's go into like some examples, right? We love examples. So Chase, give us some examples.
Yes. So like I said before, fears are pieces of content that is about what is scaring your audience about the home buying or selling process. And we're going to dive deeper into individual examples of some fears that they may be experiencing on the next slide. Pains, what is stressing your audience out about the process? What's keeping them up at night? What's making them lose sleep and like pull the audience on their cell phones? You know, what's making them ask everybody all these questions? What's stressing them out? And finally, goals. What is motivating your audience? Do they want a bigger house? Do they want to downsize? Do they want a yard for their dog? Do they want to be in a neighborhood with good schools? What is their goal and their motivation? And guys, you're probably already doing this when you're on buyer consults, when you're in listing presentations. You should be knowing their motivation and their goals during those appointments. And you can use those things in your same content, because just because one person's experiencing it someone else in your sphere, in your social media platform, is going to be experiencing that same thing, and they're going to want to know like the journey of how to get to that goal as well. So the more, for all of these, the more vivid picture you can paint, the better. So Katie, do you want to go in and talk about some of the examples of the fears on the next slide?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk fears, right? Let's get into the nitty gritty. What is scaring your audience about the home buying and selling process? Well, for example, let's talk about like first-time home buyers, right? They're an easy one to understand because they're just petrified. So they may be worried about not having enough money for a down payment, right? They don't know the fees that are associated. Like I'm probably like 7 out of 10 first-time home buyers don't even understand that they have to pay for a down payment and closing cost, right? That falls through the cracks a lot. And so it's these are the objections, right? These are their fears. Nervous about unexpected cost of home ownership. We can talk about that big fat supplemental tax bill that comes in that no one talks about. And they're afraid to be locked into a contract, right? They just see us as these like sharks who are like, sign here and you can't cancel, and I'm going to force you to buy a house. Like these crazy big fears doesn't mean that they're necessarily valid, right? They're just afraid. And how do we overcome fear is information, teaching them, you know, hey, if they're worried about not having enough money for a down payment, why don't we make content around what makes up a down payment, or content around what kind of first-time home buyer programs are there? What are some of the cost of home ownership? We should talk about property taxes. We should talk about just repairs and maintenance. And by us pointing those things out, it's not going to scare them away, because what they're going to do is they're going to say, you know what? Chase is being so transparent with me and no one else is talking about this. Like, imagine the trust that you're building with your audience when you're the one who's talking about things that they're genuinely afraid of, instead of being like, just listed, just sold, haha, here's a meme, like, do you see the depth and connection opportunity that there is? It's incredible. And afraid to be locked into a contract. You can make all kinds of content around why contracts are good and why they actually protect you, right? We and talk about, hopefully we're signing buyer exclusive agreements when we're bringing on buyers, but we can talk about like what's in a buyer exclusive agreement or what's in a listing contract. What are the benefits to signing something like that, right? So really illuminating, and you're basically taking a flashlight and shining it under the bed, is showing them, hey, there's no monsters here, okay? And again, building trust that way is absolutely essential.
Yeah. I mean, and it does a couple of things. It educates them. It shows that you care and you can be trustworthy. And then also, you're building your level of expertise. You're showcasing that you are the expert. You're able to give them the answers that they're kind of looking for because they're unsure of something, they're afraid of something, and you're providing that information that will make it a little bit more, bring them more at ease. That's your job, right?
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Really becoming Master Yoda, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
And something that I would like to add too, like for your just listed, just sold posts, you can absolutely still post those. Those are still great pieces of content. But instead of just saying like, hey, my client just bought this house, 20,000 under asking, which that's not happening right now, right? But say like 20,000 under asking, share the journey of that client going through that process. Don't share anything that'll compromise their privacy, but share the things that you can about where they started, the maybe hiccups that they stumbled upon during the process, and how you got them to that end result. That's going to be way more impactful than just saying, hey guys, that my buyer just got into this house. It's awesome. I'm great. Because you're showing your audience themselves in that post too, because they're going to be going through that same exact process 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe a year down the line. And they just need to see other people's stories as they go through it.
So maybe showcasing the fears that that client that you just closed on, you know, they were their first time home buyers. They weren't sure, you know, did they have enough money for a down payment? Maybe you connected them with a lender that was going to work with them with something, you know, maybe give them a better loan or a better, whatever it was. And you were the catalyst that helped them overcome that fear. So then they can get to where they are, where now they have, you know, keys to the house, you know, possession of the house that they, you know, that they wanted to purchase, and they were too scared to do that, but you helped them overcome that. I think that's a really powerful thing, and a really good post of, you know, having them in front of, you know, a picture, kind of like, so paint maybe a picture of like what that post would look like. And maybe even, do you guys have like maybe some wording that you can share with that, with the audience here, so they can see, you know, like what would that post look like? Give them some like, you know, an example, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing you can do, and again, it depends on your clients, right? If they don't want pictures taken, we respect that totally. But most of them do, right? Because this is kind of a big life thing, and you should be taking pictures and sending it to them on their house anniversary. Okay.
Yeah.
So take a picture, make sure, of course, you have permission, so on and so forth. You could post a picture of them in front of their house, and you can say, like, Justin and Jessica came to me overwhelmed about the home buying process because they had no idea how much it would cost to actually get the keys in their hand, right? So something like that, it's kind of like attention grabbing, because they're like, whoa, oh my God, that's what I'm feeling right now. Like, how does she know? Is she reading my mind, right? And then you can kind of go into the story of where they were before you. They were overwhelmed. They felt like they couldn't really trust people because they were scared to be locked into a contract. And they reached out to me from my social media post. Woo, that's the goal here, right? And we had a great conversation, and I showed them X, Y, and Z, and just kind of showing them like, this is where Justin and Jessica were, right? And this is potentially where you are. And here's what I did for them, right? You're kind of creating a bridge from where they are now to keys in hand, right? And so, Chase, what are some other examples you can kind of add to that?
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with that example, to be honest. You painted that picture pretty well, if I do say so myself. So I honestly don't really have much to add to that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, you know, so there's a comment, someone asking, you know, would someone be upset if you were to tell them their, you know, give their whole journey, maybe feeling like you're disclosing their whole private business? I would say, you know, to that, you know, obviously get their permission, but if they don't, if they're like, hey, you can tell my story, just don't tag me, don't take my picture of my face and whatever, you can be creative, like take a picture of them like walking into the door and you just see the back of their head so you don't see their face, don't tag them, you know. You can kind of showcase or just use stock imagery. You know, that's also another way of doing it, kind of telling their story without really, you know, publicizing who these people are, but giving people real world examples of, you know, where they once were, what the fear was or whatever the goal was, and then, you know, and then taking them through that whole entire journey, because it is about the, you know, the person that's buying or seeing your posts. It's about your audience putting themselves in those people's shoes and saying, oh, I think, you know, I think I can go through this process. Like maybe if other people are doing this and they can walk me through it, and then they trust you and believe in you. That's exactly what you're trying to convey, is trust and, you know, and being able to see how you're the expert and how you can help them.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can always change the names, right? You can always send the post to that client, say, hey, is this okay to share? And if they say no, change it, you know? Another thing you could do is next time you have like a headshot person, or we really recommend having some lifestyle shots that are a little less like posed perfectly with like the glamour background behind you. Have them take a picture of you reaching out with keys, right? Or an overhand, create that imagery. So that way, you know, if they don't feel comfortable with pictures being taken of them, you can use photos like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of doing things.
Yeah, and like $200, $300, you'll have like 6 months of photos. So we definitely recommend that. Or have your girlfriend do it, or boyfriend.
Yes, so let's go ahead and talk about some caption structures. This is the specific structure that we teach our agents to use, that we use, and that we've seen gets the most engagement on social media, whatever platform you're using. So the very first thing that you're going to want to include on your caption is a headline. So for this specific post, we use the headline. A lot of people like to ask, Katie, what's the first step when it comes to buying a house, or when you want to buy a house? That immediately gets their attention because they're like, oh, hey, I want to know the first step of buying a house too. Maybe I should click the read more button and actually read the whole post. The reason that the headline needs to grab your attention is because Instagram only shows you the first 2 lines of that caption, and then you have to hit the see more button. So if your headline doesn't grab attention, if it's not captivating, they're not going to click the see more button and read the rest of the post. If they don't read the rest of the post, you're going to lose a little bit of algorithm favor, because guess what? Social media platforms want to keep you on the platform longer. The more time people spend on your caption, they're going to say, oh my gosh, Katie's doing a great job using my platform. I'm going to send her more traffic. I'm going to send more people to go look at her because she's keeping people on the platform, which is helping me make money through my ads. So the more attention grabbing you can make that headline, the better. Next, you're going to have the body. This is basically a good analogy that I like to use is the headline is your thesis statement. The body is the meat and potatoes that supports that thesis statement. So in this particular caption, she just said to that, I simply smile and respond. The first step to beginning the process is to uncover your why. And she digs deep into what is it that you're hoping to accomplish by buying a home. She paints the picture for them. Is it because you're tired of paying your jerk landlord too much money every month? Or maybe you're ready to own a real piece of the pie and live the American dream. She's being very vivid in painting a clear picture of what their goals and motivations are, right? This is a great way to tie in your goals, your client's goals, into a post. And then she ends it with get crystal clear on your why, and you'll always have an inspiration to move forward, kind of motivating them a little bit more. And then she explains why knowing your why is so important. And the most important part of your caption, the most important part is including a call to action. This call to action in this post is, do you need a worksheet that will help you work through your why? Don't panic. I already made one for you. Just DM me and I'll email it over to you. So calls to action, they don't have to be DM me. They don't have to be email me. They can just be comment on my post. Just ask a question and say, comment below what your thoughts are. Like something that you could ask is, what's your favorite local coffee shop? Comment down below. And then since you're calling them to action, they're more likely to take action. If you don't call them to action, they're going to be confused, not know what to do, and not do anything. So you need to have a call to action on all of your posts. Katie has a really, really good point about using the call me call to action. So Katie, can you dive deeper into what they should avoid in the call to action?
Yes. Okay. So as you can tell, my post is very casual, right? I make dog jokes and the language is a little bit more casual. That is because I am talking to millennial first-time home buyers, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean I only work with millennial first-time home buyers. That just means that's who I'm talking to in this post. And so something we see that is like the Achilles heel of real estate agents on social media is call me. Who's next? Do you know someone who's ready to buy or sell, right? Like that's what we've been trained to say, but really we got to think about it like this. Not only is buying a house or selling a house like a really big deal, depending on our audience, they may not like to call people. Like millennials will not call you, neither will Gen Z. They will like DM you on TikTok. Okay. So just really pay attention to, is my call to action in alignment with who the post is for? And since this post is for millennials, I'm not really going to say, hey, call me, right? Because basically buying a house selling a house, it only happens a few times in a people's lifetime. And people think as soon as you get them on the phone, you're going to force them to buy a house. I don't know why they think that, but it's true. And so it's just like such a big commitment, right? They want to get to know you. They want to flirt with you a little bit, see if you'll go on another date before you make that big commitment, instead of just being like, call me, which is like, maybe we'll get married. I don't know, right? Like it's kind of a big step, and they just need little crumbs to follow, right? Something not as scary. They're like an injured animal. Okay, we need to feed them food slowly and gain their trust. And you can do that with an easy call to action, like DM me the word checklist if you want this checklist. Or if the post was about a local coffee shop, which guys, we should be talking about local businesses all the time. You can say, what is your order from here? Like, I would love to know. And so it doesn't have to always be about real estate.
Yeah.
Just so you know. And yeah, that's basically it. I'll get off my soapbox.
And I was going to say, I mean, a call to action can definitely be, like click on this link to find out more information, right? I mean, you can always have them clicking on a link. You can create a landing page within Wise Agent. So you can have them, fill out whatever it is, and, let me know, depending on who your audience is and what your post is about. So if it's this post, like, DM me and I can set you up on a search, or I can, whatever, let you know, whatever information that you want, but you can create a landing page based on that information, because that's less scary than, call me or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And for the non-millennials out there, like myself, I'm not a TikToker. I'm not a, whatever. I don't do that sort of thing. It would be maybe less intimidating than like, now I'm going to be talking to somebody over social media. I don't know. It's less scary for that other generation that is out there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just got to make sure again, sales technique, mirror and match. If you're working with luxury buyers or sellers, you may not DM them over Instagram, or you may take them out to dinner. So we're nice. But yeah, absolutely. And make sure you guys, this is just a sidestep note, we are putting links only in the bio. That is the only place they work. And yes, on the landing page in your bio, that is essential. So the fact that Wise Agent has that, genius, brilliant, because like how setting up a landing page is how you get leads from social media. That is crucial, you guys.
So I know one of the questions, was, how do you get people? How do you get their contact information? Because just because, they DM'd you, you're not getting their email address, you're not getting their phone number, you're not really getting anything other than, maybe a first and last name, possibly you could follow them back, but you're not really getting any kind of contact information. So the landing page would be the way of doing that.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, that would definitely be it. And having that, having that in your bio is where it's really most valuable. Do you think it's still appropriate to have it even on the call to action, or should the call to action be, check out, like click on my bio to see, see the link or whatever?
Yeah, the latter. Click the link in my bio for your free checklist.
On Instagram specifically. If it's on Facebook, you can put the link in the post because it's actually clickable. But on Instagram, the only place where the link is clickable is in the bio. So if you put it in the caption, since they're on their phone, they can't copy and paste just the link, and it makes it really hard for them to access the page. So for Instagram, you need to have it in your bio. But if you're posting exclusively to Facebook, then put it in the caption because it's easily clickable there.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's a couple of questions here. So someone's asking how to build a landing page on Wise Agent, and I'll do that towards the tail end here. But another question is, so you can set up a landing page and Wise Agent account for people to go in to order or in order to download a resource that's been created by you. And the answer of that is absolutely yes. That's exactly how it works. We have a whole entire blog post on that we posted about, I think, last week, and we can, I think Bree or somebody from my team is on here, and they'll make that comment. So share that blog post for you guys. So that's called lead magnets. And that's exactly what you're doing here, is having a lead magnet post. You know, you're posting something and then you're kind of having them go through all the steps. You know, now go to my bio, go to my profile and click on that link. And then that takes them to the next step, which would be fill out this form, which then takes them to the, you know, the next step, which would be the call to action would be now check your email, because I'm going to have something sent to your inbox. And then you have this whole circle of things where they're following you. And those are the most, you know, the leads that are most interested. Those are the ones that you're going to want to follow up with. And you're going to want to chase those people, right? You're going to want to continue and build on that relationship there.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the hand raisers, you guys. Those are, yeah, definitely. And that landing page with the lead magnet, that is it. That is the money right there. And we will talk a little bit more about that. But also with your captions, I think a lot of agents get caught up trying to write like this novel. Don't worry about it. Short and sweet works perfectly as well. Done is always better than perfect. So we do have some caption writing hacks.
Yes, really quick though, since we were talking about captions and the length of them, Siobhan asked, are long captions okay? I've always felt like the caption is too long, people might lose interest. Long captions are okay, because if the content really resonates with your audience, they're going to keep reading it. And again, they're going to stay on the platform longer, which is going to give you more algorithm favor. So if you're writing long captions and it's easy for you, go ahead and keep doing those long captions. But if it's overwhelming, short and sweet is absolutely okay too.
Yes. And you can break up the longer captions with some emojis too, to create that visual impact. People, we're trained. We like those little emojis. We get little dopamine hits. So make sure you throw those in there too. Chase is always yelling at me because I'm always like, break a text. I'm like, and she's like, can you just add some emojis, please? So add some emojis. So like, let's talk caption writing hacks, right? We love hacks. We love doing the best in the shortest amount of time, because we've got a lot of things to do as real estate agents. So a lot of people have a problem with the tonality of their post. Just pretend like you're typing the caption like you would talk to a friend who would ask you about real estate. Don't worry. I think agents get caught up in this like professional, I'm scared if I show like a fraction of my personality, they're going to think I'm unprofessional. And they will love you more for it, right? They don't want to talk to a robot who says the perfect things all the time. Like, ew, like no one likes that. So don't be afraid to let your personality shine. I know it sounds cliche, but that's what your clients need. They need to know that you're a person who cares. And so does your audience. They need to hear you talk to them like you would a friend. And go ahead.
Something that I'd like to add to that is there's a difference between being professional and a difference between being formal. Professional and formal are two different things. You can be professional without being proper all the time. I like to compare it as like you're at a cocktail party networking, you're professional, but you're not acting as if you're formal going to visit the Queen of England. We're not going to visit the Queen of England here. We're just saying, hey guys, how are all of you doing? Like, we're having a conversation that's authentic and still maintaining that professionalism. We're not like, hello, how are you? We're staying all proper all the time and proper grammar. And I don't know what I'm doing, but you guys get the idea, right? Like, we're not going to have tea with the queen. We are going to have a conversation, and you can be professional without being formal. That was my little soapbox thing. Katie had one earlier. That's mine.
That was a great British accent, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, you want to pretend like you're talking to a friend, and you can always, like Chase had said before, think of your headline, the first attention grabbing piece, as your thesis, right? We're taking you back to like 8th grade when you had to write those essays, right? So your headline is your thesis. Your body should talk about what's in your headline. Otherwise, it's just called clickbait, and we don't want that. We want to make sure whatever we talk about in our headline, we talk about in the bio to maintain that trust we worked so hard to build. And again, done is better than perfect. And if you try to write the perfect post with the perfect punctuation and the perfect points, you're never going to post it, right?
I was going to say, you're going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
Don't
And
overthink it either, right?
yes, exactly. And so something that we see, or something that will help is if you have a hard time like typing things and you're like, oh, getting all up in your head about it. I'm a talker, if you couldn't notice. And so something I do is I do voice to text. So I'll voice to text me saying, first time home buyers, you should look out for this. And what it actually does is it'll type out everything that you say, and you have like a rough draft for a caption. You may have you have to go in and edit it, right? Depending on how well you enunciate things. So that's something that I know has helped our agents a lot. And
Great tip.
yeah, everyone struggles with captions, you guys, even like content creators, everyone struggles with captions. We're all like, ooh, what do we say? Everyone feels that way. So no offense, but you're not special. We all struggle. We're all on the struggle bus. So that's why it's so important to really just let it go and know, again, if you take one thing from today, done is better than perfect. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. And so do you guys have on the next slide, or do we have
Yes.
a quick question here in between? So how often should people be posting?
Oh, that is like the number one question we
That
get.
is the number one
It is.
question.
It is the most
That is,
popular
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so funny. Okay. So let's talk about that. Because in our industry, we've been taught you have to post every single day, multiple times a day in order to stay top of mind. Like those are literally words out of people's mouths that we've heard. That is horrifying because again, we're real estate agents. We are not social media managers. Okay. So we recommend, and you guys probably won't like this answer. That answer depends on how much you are willing to, how much sounds fun to you, right? Like you guys are like, tell me how many times, Katie and Chase, and we'll do it. And I'm like, how many times sounds fun? And you're like, wait, fun? What? So we typically, Chase and I, we post 2 to 3 times a week because we find that we can create that content without feeling stressed, without feeling like this weird energy around it. We're like, this feels good. I'm going to keep doing this. And if you are posting not at all right now and you post, you're like, you know what? 1 time a week feels good. Then that's the right answer. But if you're stressed and you're becoming like this unhappy person, then probably a lot less than you are now. So really it depends on how many times a week you should post. It depends on the quality of posts you're making.
Mhm.
If you're just doing just listed, just sold, if you're just doing that supplemental, those memes, those National Popcorn Day, like what value are you really adding to your audience by saying Happy National Popcorn Day, right? Like it's kind of just noise. So if we focus more so on the impactful content, AKA those objection handlers via fears, pains, and goals, then we have permission to post less, right? It's the quality over quantity. So if you want to start with 2 times a week, start with 2 times a week and then scale up when it feels good. Okay.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
our answer.
It's more about being sustainable
Mhm.
instead of trying to do it all, go, and burning out. The more consistent and sustainable your routine is, the more results you're going to get than if you're just trying to pump out as much content as possible, you know? So less is definitely more.
Yeah, because you don't want it to sound forced, like, oh, someone's forcing me to do this, so I'll do it, but I hate it every second of it, right? You don't want that.
Right.
Yeah.
And would you say then to be consistent? So like if you're posting on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. And Thursdays at 5 p.m., do that throughout, the week, the month, just keep going with that schedule. Do you think that's appropriate to just be consistent in that matter? Or is it just consistent like twice a week, doesn't really matter when?
Yeah. So if we want to get really nerdy for a second, you can go into your insights on Instagram and there's all kinds of YouTube videos, you guys. So don't be afraid to use YouTube. YouTube is the new Google. Okay. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that copyright wise, but basically what you want to do is you want to look into your insights and see what days are my audience most on my profile. And it'll tell you like, Tuesdays and Thursdays are great for us, right? So those are a great way to start. And if you want to mix things up a bit, sometimes Chase and I, we go a little crazy. We do Tuesday, Thursday one week, then Monday, Wednesday, Friday the next, like wild, right? The most important part is that you're posting. And so if you're posting and you're consistent, then you can start to get nerdy with it and be like, I should post at 4:59 because my most popular time is 5 p.m., right? Yeah. So just get to posting. You can check out insights. Again, there's all kinds of tutorials on YouTube about how to check those. And it's just have fun with it, you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
would you say using, you know, something to schedule the posts, is that something that people should be doing? Like if you know, Tuesdays at 9 a.m., you've got your, your agents meeting or whatever it is, or your brokerage meeting, you have to be there for that. But that's the best time for you to post something for your engagement. Is that something that you guys recommend?
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So we do have a couple resources for that. The free option is Facebook Creator Studio. It's just the native Facebook planning software, works for Facebook and Instagram. Again, free. We like free. You can put the picture in there, put your caption, do everything, schedule it out, automatically post. The platform that we love and use is Planoly. It is $9 a month. But it automatically posts for us. And the feature that sets it apart for us, that makes it worth that $9 a month, is the fact that it can automatically upload that first comment for us, because we put our hashtags in that first comment to increase our discoverability. But if you don't want to pay that extra $9 for that feature, then you can always just add your hashtags to the caption and put it in Creator Studio and use the free version. So absolutely use a scheduler, automate as much as possible. Like ideally, you should just write your content and then be hands off with it, because the more hands off you can be, the more likely it is to actually get uploaded. Because if we have to go in and manually post, we're going to have a fire to put out. We're going to be driving. We're going to be doing something, and that post is never going to go out, even though it was already written.
Right. And then Chase, do you mind putting the name of the tool that you recommend? If you could post that in the chat for everyone, that would be great. I know we've got a couple of questions on that. And then Katie, the insights that you were talking about for Instagram, now that's just for Instagram business account, or is that right?
Yeah, so that's a great point. You guys, please make sure you are using a business profile, because you will not be able to track your insights otherwise. And there's a lot of cool features for businesses. You can add little call to action buttons on your profile that says email me or text me, or, so definitely use the business profile. It doesn't turn people off. Just make sure your profile photo is your face, not a logo, right? They want to see who you are, not just your logo. So yeah, definitely make sure you have that business or a creator.
That's a great point too. Yeah, I know. I see a lot of times it's just you want to have that personal connection with them instead of just your brand. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. All right. And so and then I think Chase, maybe you talked about hashtags on the first post versus.
Yes.
So yours, so it should be the very first comment should be all of your hashtags and not in the post itself. Is that what you recommend?
It can be either or. Personally, Katie and I don't really like the cluttered feel and like the kind of spamminess that it kind of makes you feel when those hashtags are in your actual caption. So we like to just put all 30 of our hashtags in the first comment instead, because it works the same. And you can do that manually by having Facebook Creator Studio if you're using the free version. If you're having it automatically post, but you have to go in personally and then comment those hashtags, which kind of defeats the purpose of the automation. But Planoly does allow you to add that first comment and put your hashtags in there.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on that, it doesn't make a difference. If you want to do it in the caption, do it in the caption. If you want to do it in the first, it's just like all it is aesthetics. That's all it is. So you won't get dinged either way.
And now, did you say 30 hashtags?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that what you guys recommend, to have 30 hashtags per post?
We like to recommend that, but if it's hard for you to come up with those many hashtags, obviously don't force yourself to find all of them, because the way hashtags work, it is a little bit of a scientific thing. You have to do a bunch of research, and ideally you want to have a few different groups of 30. So you'll probably need to find 90 to 120 hashtags, which is a lot of work a lot of the time. So if 30 is too much for you, then do 5, do 10, do however many is easy for you to find. We just use 30 because we've done the research, we've had the list created for so long that it's just we pop it in now. But that beginning research period can take a little bit of time. So if you don't have that time, just find 5 or 10.
Yes, and
That's enough.
please, please do not use hashtag real estate, because the only people who use that hashtag are other real estate agents. And we love each other. We're collaborative, right? But we want locals' attention, right? So focus on local hashtags, right? And if you're, a good way to do that is to search the hashtag of the area that you want to serve, and it will give you recommended hashtags based on that. So for example, I live in a town that's close to, it's called Redlands, and it's very prideful. So I would search in Redlands, and in all these suggested hashtags will come up, like downtown Redlands, Redlands nightlife, Redlands small business, right? So all these Redlands geo-based hashtags will pop up. So definitely use those because they are what locals use, and that's where locals hang out.
And that's all through. So to be able to, because that's the questions, like, whoa, everyone's asking. So how do you search those hashtags, either for a particular area, or just how do you use hashtags? How do you find which hashtags to use?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually really easy. All you have to do is head over to Instagram, and what you're going to do is, sorry, I'm turning my phone on, is you're going to go in the search feature, the little magnifying glass, and all you have to do is type in the city that you want to serve. So example, again, Redlands is going to come up, and all you have to move, because there's top, accounts, tags, and places, you move to tags, and boom, I have 60 recommended Redlands hashtags right there. Redlands vegan, Redlands fire, Redlands fitness, Redlands buzz, Redlands bowl, which is like a big thing in our town. So play around with it, because you'll be surprised at how quickly you can build those hashtags just by searching in a city name.
And so for the city name, it sounds like that would be, like I'm going to look Redlands, I don't know, Redlands, living or lifestyle or something along those lines, right? Why people would want to live there, because that's going to want people to, those are the people that you're kind of targeting. But besides that, like location, what else? Because I mean, you're not going to put 90 hashtags of Redlands, everything else, right? Or whatever the city name, everything else. So what other hashtags do you recommend? Would it be like first-time home buyers, hashtag, is that something that you would recommend, like using like whatever that fear is that you're going to be talking about in the post?
So typically we like to stay with the geo hashtags just because it is more tailored to locals, but you can do like first-time home buyer. You want to call out the client that you're making the post for, right? But if we use hashtag empty nesters don't know they're empty nesters. They don't call themselves that, right? So something you can do is like maybe you want to work with military families, so you could do hashtag military wives, or hashtag, like hashtags that they would use. So you have to you have to take off your realtor hat, put on your whoever you want to serve hat, right? So if your ideal client, again, is military families, where are military families hanging out? Like what hashtags are they using? What hobbies are they into? Like you got to get a little creepy to start uncovering those hashtags so you can start using them and showing up in front of them as well.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to like what I say in pretty much every single webinar, and here we are towards the tail end, and I'm going to say it again. So I don't think I've missed once saying this, is that it is about building relationships and knowing who your audience is. So if it is like the military families, or if you're, these are people that you met maybe at church or at a group or a gardening club or whatever kind of organization, maybe at the PTO, you're going to want to speak to them specifically, and maybe not every post will resonate with every group of people that you talk to, but you would have correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are the experts here, you would speak to them in different posts. So maybe today's post would be to the military families, and later on in the week it would be to the PTO families, and then the next week would be to the gardening club. Like this, Fountain Hills is a great place to garden, and this is why you would be, moving into here. We've got a community garden center and blah, blah, blah. And you would talk about what those benefits are for living here to get people to be interested in that location. So then they can, right, because they're searching it up, even if they don't live here. You want them searching up like, oh, what's the best place for gardening in Arizona or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes down to like being the go-to agent.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Because you want to be that local expert, right? We want to say, guys, here are the 5 best coffee shops in Redlands. You gotta go, right? So it doesn't always have to be tailored to like the military family, right? It can be more localized as well.
Mhm.
And you can still talk about first-time home buyers, right? But let's just make sure that we're not trying to do everything, right? We got to listen to the little voice in here that says this is too much. Or this is too little, right? So ultimately, definitely make content about your community. That's huge. And posts that are going to resonate with people you want to work with.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love that. That's wonderful that you guys share that same thing. I mean, that's kind of the theme of real estate, is making sure that the message that you're out there is going to be one that people are, you have that audience for them that are interested in hearing that. So if you're talking about, military families, but yet you have no one in your sphere and you have no knowledge of what it's like being in a military family and selling properties to them, is going to be difficult to convey that message. So talk to what talk to the people that basically is what we're saying, even in social media, that's email campaigns, it's in all marketing, is talk about what what you're the expert on, and do those kind of things. So that's fantastic. Thank you, ladies. Yeah. So I think I know there was a couple of people that were asking how we would show how we would create a landing page from within Wise Agent and where it would be posted. So I'm just going to take a quick minute here and let's see, and get my screen sharing going here. All right, I think you guys can see this. So from within your Wise Agent account, you'll go to your marketing tab here and just click on landing pages. We have several different templates for you to use, and just use whatever is comfortable for you as far as like what the look is. It might be, and whatever your objection is. If it's, if you're talking about recruiting in your post, here's a landing page for you. You can put these links in your bio, so then people are going there and filling out the form. So if it's like a newsletter option, or maybe it's a guide to relocating homes, I think this is a great one too. Let's preview this. And so you just have basically this tips for relocating. You would just take the URL and put this in your bio on Instagram, and talk about, hey, if you want to tips for relocating, fill out this, go to the link in my bio and and check it out. Then what happens is they fill out this form. You use your lead rules to send them the content, those tips. So then you would come in here and set that all up. So let's just say this is the source. And you would come into your email, you would click on your source, and we have this for you. So you can come in here and just use our infographics. Oops, wrong button. And and here's your guide to relocation, right? So and then they would get this email delivered in their inbox with your branding, your social icons, everything else, right? So this is how it would work. Super simple. Bree posted about this blog that we wrote, these lead magnets and how that works earlier today, and I'll make sure that gets kind of re-highlighted again here. I'll try and find it. Here it is. So I will put this back up here so everyone can look at that blog post and read about that. Okay, so any final thoughts and things that you guys wanted to share? Any final comments?
Yeah, absolutely. We know you guys have a lot of questions when it comes to social media and how to exactly get people from not following you to signing up for your lead magnet on your Wise Agent landing page and then becoming clients, right? So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about what we teach in the Go-To Agent Society, which goes through all of that, you're welcome to take our webinar, freeleadswithease.com. It's very straightforward. We don't do any fluff or anything like that. And so yeah, that's basically it. And we're happy to answer more questions.